All right, before we get started here, there's a few things you're gonna need. You're gonna need access to a PC. I'm pretty sure you can do Macs also, but this particular ForScan connector is made for Windows. Links to all this stuff is going to be in the description. You'll need 2 sets of these Metra speaker buckets here. You'll need 2 sets of speakers. I use these cheap Pioneer speakers. You'll need crimpers and strippers. 14 gauge is what I use for the speaker wire, but you should be able to use something smaller than that. So I bought 50 feet of speaker wire and had plenty left over. This works for a 21 through 24 transit. If you have a 25 and it works for you, please comment below to help the community. Anyway, yeah, let's get into it. Throughout this video, I'm going to be referencing a forum post where I found most of this information. The link to that will also be in the description. It'll probably help you with the wiring diagrams on there, and also all the information for ForScan will be in there. If you need to reference that, just look below. All right, so we're at the back of the van. You're gonna have covers on your doors. They just pull off if you get your hand around them. They have these pins in them. I'll show you what they look like right here. This is how mine came, at least. I'm sure there's lots of different models, but they have covers like this. I was able to just use my fingers and pry it off of there. When you get to the back of the van, there'll be some wiring cover over this that you can just use a little razor blade and try not to nick the wires when you're doing it. This just clips in back here to one of these holes, but on the passenger side, these two are going to be your speaker wires, and on the driver's side, the purple and green, the brown and purple and white and green are going to be your passenger side wiring for the speakers there. I got these Metra kits, links in the description. These come with screws, and they come with the little clips that go in these holes, and they fit perfectly in there to mount your I'm going to use 6.5 inch speakers. I'll have the link to the Pioneer speakers I'm going to use. That's over that side. You're going to have this. I don't know if you guys will all have the same setup, but this what was on the door on the passenger side. You just peel that back. It's just got like RTV on it. Anyway, when you get to the back, there's going to be no speaker wiring in my doors, right? I only have a 4-speaker kit. Had the door speakers in the front and the tweeter speakers. And I need to get wiring essentially from, there's all the speaker wires also here. This would have had the original harness that goes to your door. But I'm going to just come back here and tap the wiring here and not even mess with this. I'm sure if you guys wanted to, you could get the harness from Ford and make it work. I'm just going to run speaker wire through this out to here. Here's where your rear speakers will go. Same Metra kit for there. So if you want to, these have these clips on them here. And essentially what you need to do is just keep a little bit of pressure out. You can see these clips here. I don't know if there you go. You can see them there. And just start with your hand on the inside of the door here and push down on each clip until you get it popped out. So I just started at the top and then I did the sides, and then the bottom just rolled out. If you take this little panel off here that also just clips on, you can see it's got clips. It just goes in this hole here. It's the same thing. So it's tough to get in there if you got someone you know that's got little dexterous hands. My hands aren't tiny, but they're not enormous. So same deal here. And when you get it off, there's just like a piece of rubber holding it close there. And then I'll fish through. I might have to put a little sliver in this to get my speaker wire through. I'll fish through speaker wire to each of these doors here. Same thing on this side. And I just picked up some 14 gauge. I picked up 50 feet of 14 gauge speaker wire. And I'm gonna do that right now, and then I'll check back in with you. Just gonna show you how I made it easier for myself to route it through this here. I'm using a piece of welding wire, and what I did is I just disconnected the harness here, and then I was able to pull it back through that hole so I can get it straight as possible. I got a piece of welding wire in there, got it taped up to this side, and I'll just pull it back through that tube. All right, on the driver's side, we got our wire hanging out here. Put some tape back on the end of this tubing here, this rubber tubing. Got it clipped back in. When it came down here, I ran it through that hole back there. I'm gonna run it to this connector here, and then I ran another piece just to get it ready to that mid speaker there. We're gonna repeat the steps on the driver's side or passenger side. So let me get that in, I'll get back with it. So same thing on the passenger side, you just lift this little cover up from the bottom. This will pop off of this hole here. There is these two clips here, or two harnesses. I just pulled them off of these. They just slip on and off here, and then you can just clip them on and off. Pulled the harness out of the door, so you have room to work with. You're gonna wanna pull the tape off there and then just shove like a piece of welding wire or something you got to get through there. And we will pull our speaker wire in. So I got my wire pulled in on the passenger side. You can see it's in the door there. I retaped this up here and routed it down through here, same thing. Rehooked it back up, all the clips and stuff like that. And then you can just put this sucker back in. I think it goes like this. So this is the metric kit you're gonna use for the doors. It is 825608. You can get these on Amazon. I got the link in the description if you need them. The next step's pretty self-explanatory, but just grab yourself a screw gun and put your buckets in for these speakers. And now we're gonna wire the speakers and they'll screw into the holes here in the bucket. All right, so these are the cheap Pioneer speakers I got for 30 bucks off Amazon. Links in the description. Positive's always the one with the stripe. Negative is no stripe. The bucket here comes, this is what you're gonna tap into. It comes with these little fasteners, but we're not gonna need those. All you need is these screws, and they will just go right into the actual speaker bucket there and screw in. Speaker wires long enough that we'll be able to hook it up down here and be good to go. So I'll get all those in and then we'll wire it up. Here I'm just using these little space capsule crimp connectors, and I'm hooking my white to white and my stripe to stripe. So I already got the back done. We're working our way around, and then we'll wire it into the truck or the van wiring. Knowledge, but anyway, I'm gonna wire these in parallel. That means all my positives will just go to this green wire and all my negatives will go to this brown and yellow wire. So this is the passenger side of the van. Again, I'm gonna be wiring these in parallel into the series, but brown and white's gonna be your positive, and brown and blue is gonna be your negative. So whites are your positive on your speaker wire. I'm personally using trailer splices on these only because I don't want to cut the factory wiring. I kind of want to leave it the way it is. If you don't mind cutting it, I believe these are looped in and looped back, so I would just make sure these all go together again. Anyway, I'm gonna tap into these now and then we'll jump into turning these on in ForScan. So if you don't already have ForScan, you're gonna wanna go to forscan.org. You go to products. I'm personally using Windows, so I hit that ForScan for Windows version 2.3.65. Run through the download and then open it, and it'll put a little shortcut here on your desktop. So this is the part that we're going to get in the ForScan programming, but what I want you to do is, first I want you to go into here and buy the 1-year extended license. You click into here, you pay 20 bucks. Essentially what it does is give you a license code, and then when you get in the ForScan, you put the code in on this screen here under enter activation code, and it'll open up all the functions for you. The next thing you're gonna do is, since you got this cord here, it comes with this sheet, and it tells you to download their app or whatever that makes the driver for the USB work. So just follow these directions here. All of these settings are going to be under settings on here, and you go to connection. It'll have you put FTID in. It'll have you change the baud rate to 155.2. I know it says 15.2 under there, but if you click under the drop down here, it'll be 155.2, and it'll have you hit auto increase. You're gonna connect the cord after that to your van, and you're going to, sorry, it's kind of bright in here. Anyway, you're going to go to programming, or actually you're going to go to down here to, let's see, it says here, you hit this connect button right here. It's the one on the bottom left, and you'll know that it's connected because it'll say at the bottom, it'll say connected. In order to get into the where we want to go to do the configuration, you're going to go to, I'm going to hit the stop button here. So essentially what you do is you go into this configuration here, and you're going to hit, sorry guys, working with me here. You're going to go to your ACM and on the as built format, and you're going to hit play. And it'll say this stuff. Don't worry about this kind of stuff. When you get into this, I suggest you take a picture of this. The only things we're going to be messing with in this menu are these top two. So it's going to be 727-0101, and just enter in exactly what I have in there, and 727-0102, and enter in exactly what I have written here. I've already made these changes. Yours, the only things that you're going to be messing with, I believe, was the 0900. Mine originally said 0901, and then it'll just be these middle ones that change here. And then once that's done, you just hit write all, and it'll update the programming. But before you do anything, make sure you have your stock changes. You don't want to make any changes until you potentially could put it back to stock. So take a picture of that. And then when you're done with that, you hit stop down here. After you hit write all, it'll load, and then you'll hit stop. And then we're going to go back to configuration and programming at the top. We'll go to the, let's see here, I believe it was the APIM module, so it'll be this one here. You're just going to hit play again. It's hard to look through my phone and do this. And you're going to scroll down until it says, let's see here, what was it again? Fader in sound menu, and you're gonna hit this. It'll ask you if you want to change it. You can hit edit selected there, right? Fader in sound menu, it'll come up, and you'll be disabled originally. You're gonna want to go to enabled, hit the check mark. It'll ask you to cycle the key. I'm not gonna do that right now, but it'll ask you to cycle your key. So you just cycle your key. I took mine all the way out, let the screen go completely blank, and then I put it back in and turn the key back on. And when you turn it back on, it'll take a second for your rear speakers to come up. But if you go to balance and fade, originally I didn't have this screen. So what I did, it's kind of weird because if you go all the way back here, it just does the rear speakers. So if you just put it in the center here, it'll do the rear and the front speakers. And I'll play some music here in just a second and show you how they work. But yeah, everything works, and then you can mess with your bass and stuff like that to get it going at how you like it. Eventually I'll probably put some speakers up top here to really help, but I found another another post that a company makes about a amplifier you can put behind the screen here. I don't know if they make it for this particular model, but this should work for 21 and up transits. And if you, mine's a 23. If you have a 25, please comment below and let me know if it worked for you, and then I can help other people out. But do this all at your own risk, guys. You know, I'm not responsible for you doing any of this, but if it's $20 for ForScan for a year, to me, this is totally worth it. I think I have maybe $100 into all the $120 into all this, and I got 4 more speakers in the back. So totally worth it. I would do it all again. All right, bye. All right, just to wrap this video up, go back and just zip tie all your wiring up so that it's not flopping around and could potentially break on the speaker. I threw zip ties on everything to make it clean, and then put your panels back in your back doors. Make sure all your speakers are working, go around and touch them, but the installation went real smooth. And like I said, now you have kind of surround sound. So I tried uploading the video originally with some infringement-free music, but it still said copyright protected on YouTube when I put it in. But anyway, I hope this works out for you. And if you guys have any questions, just drop it down below in the comments. I'll get back to any of you. But please consider liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. Smash the buttons. And if you want to see more content, we'll be building this thing out into a moto van. So consider subscribing. All right, take it easy. Bye.